written document. Yes or no? Indian
Yes, madam.
Constitution is a written document, and
Yep.
it is the most detailed constitution of the world. It is considered as the most lengthiest constitution of the world. Now, kaise written hai? We know that everything is, enacted in a written form, and we find it through the articles mentioned written in the constitution, through the parts and to the schedules written in the constitution in detail. Now, this is the most lengthiest of the world, lengthiest constitution and detailed constitution of the world. Before enacting this constitution, so many debates happened. It was a fully debated and then duly enacted constitution. Fine. It actually took 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to write and then enact the constitution. Yes or no?
Yes,
जब हम
madam.
शोध पढ़ रहे थे,
Yes,
हमने
ma'am.
जिक्र किया कि इसको लिखने के लिए, इसको तमाम इनैक्टमेंट इसका पूरा करने के लिए, प्रॉपर ड्राफ्ट करने के लिए कितना वक्त लगा? 2 साल 11 महीने और 18 दिन लगे. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And it consists of how many articles? 448 articles. Imagine 448 articles. It's a huge kind of, articles included in our constitution. When you look at the constitution of other countries, agar aap, for example, US का constitution देख लें, वहाँ पे हमें सिर्फ 7 articles मिलेंगे. How many articles?
7.
Only 7 articles.
7 articles.
Imagine a country like US is having 7 articles. And France, another example is France. वहाँ सिर्फ 89 articles हैं. Okay. And India has 448 articles. More than 4 times of these countries, 4 or 5 times of these countries. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So, in this way, when you look at different aspects, in tamam aspects, agar aap dekhenge, then you will find definitely this is the most lengthiest constitution, written constitution, a detailed constitution in the world. Nowhere in the world you will find such a constitution. Okay, ये एक feature हुआ. और कोई features बोलने की कोशिश करिए. Important thing is, another important feature is preamble of this constitution. What is a preamble? कोई idea है? आपको बता सकते हैं आप लोग what is preamble? Yes. देखिए आप कोई भी चीज लेते हैं ना, कोई भी चीज लेते हैं तो what do you get along with that when you purchase something?
Manual, madam.
Very good. You get a manual. And what does the manual speak about?
Installation and how to operate.
Okay, how to operate, how to use that product. Yes or no? What is the concept of that? In किस चीज के बारे में हम वो manual कौन सी चीज को describe करता है? It describes the eternity of that thing which you have purchased. Likewise, preamble also speaks about the philosophy of the entire constitution in a nutshell. It keeps कि जितने 448 articles आप पढ़ लेंगे, 12 schedules आप detail में चले जाएंगे, 25 parts अगर आप पढ़ते हैं, इन तमाम को nutshell में Constitution will describe the philosophy of the entire Constitution of India. Okay, it's like a blueprint. Understood? Constitution is preamble is nothing but a blueprint. It's a kind of blueprint. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now it declares India. आप लोगों ने बहुत बार यानी पढ़ा होगा. It also declares what does it declare? It declares India as sovereign, socialist, sovereign. Remember, हम जब बता रहे हैं if we are talking about philosophy, right? So what is the philosophy of the constitution? It says that India is a sovereign country. It is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Yes or no? बहुत बोल्ड लेटर्स में तमाम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को डिस्क्राइब कर दिया गया. India is a sovereign country. Sovereign in the sense it is free from foreign control. Yes, all its internal aspects. किसी बाहर मुल्क की यानी किसी भी anything from outside, किसी की बाहर की किसी interference के बगैर वो खुद अपनी government चला सकती है. Okay, it is free from any foreign control. It is supreme. It is independent country. It's called sovereign. Yes or no? Okay.
Yep.
Then it also declares India as socialist country. We will discuss this preamble. अपने आप में it's a chapter we need to discuss in coming classes. Okay. So sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. It also aims at achieving integrity, unity, and integrity of the nation. Okay. It also aims at achieving unity and integrity of the nation. It also says that the country is committed to secure to its people liberty, equality, and fraternity. इसमें से कौन सा term आपको समझ नहीं आया बताएं. So it also aims at achieving liberty of the people, equality, and fraternity. What is liberty? Yes. What is liberty?
Freedom, ma'am.
Freedom.
It
Freedom.
means freedom. Good. And equality, we all know. Yes.
Equal.
It reads equal before law.
Yes.
And fraternity is
Brotherhood.
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 Fraternity means brotherhood. So it actually aims at establishing a balance, guys. Okay. What is that balance? The dignity of the individual, achieving dignity as well as simultaneously achieving unity and integrity of the nation. Is that balance, a kind of balance India aims to achieve. It aims to secure justice, political, socio, and economic justice. Okay, fine. So preamble is like key to the constitution. Understand in simple terms. It's like a key to the constitution. It states in a nutshell. And in a nutshell, it explains the nature of Indian state and the objectives it is committed to secure for the people. So preamble क्या है? In a nutshell, वो nature of our country. It explains the nature of the nation, nature of India. Okay, and in the objectives of the Indian state. Okay, what is the objective? What are the objectives we just said? Achieving socio-economic and political equality, dignity of the individual, okay, simultaneously achieving integrity and unity of the nation. So these are all the objectives that our nation aims to achieve. Fine. So let's discuss in coming class about the preamble in detail. We are just covering it as the feature right now. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Another important feature is democratic socialist state. Guys, although right from the beginning, the Indian Constitution fully reflected the spirit of democratic socialism. Okay. Democratic socialism, you need to understand. What do you understand by democratic socialism? Have you heard about the theory of capitalism and socialism? Yes? किसी ने नहीं सुना capitalism क्या होता है?
Yes, ma'am. Capital is something like which you do businesses like interrelated to the international countries.
Maybe. But then capitalism is a form of state where all means of production of a country is in the hands of a private sector. Okay? So there's a theory called capitalist countries, capitalism and all. So, but India aims at achieving socialism. Okay. Remember the term socialism, abhi humne padha tha na, when we just discussed about preamble, it states that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So, एक term आता है socialist country. India is a socialist country, but a democratic socialist country. Remember that. I'll come to that point. What is democratic socialism? Now, it was only in 1976 that the preamble was amended to include the term socialism. Okay. In which year we have included socialism?
1976.
1976. Remember, this is an important point.
Sure.
Important question. Only in the year 1976, India came to know, India realized socialism, India included socialism in the Constitution of India. Okay. Now, India is committed to secure social, economic, and political justice for its people. Okay. What does it commit? How is it committed to? It is committed to achieve what? Social, secure social, economic, as well as political justice. Now, how is this possible? It is possible only by ending all forms of exploitation. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is exploitation basically? Rich becoming richer, poor becoming poorer. Okay. तो कैपिटलिज्म की थियोरी से जो रेवोल्यूशंस आए थे जिन कंट्रीज में, तो वो थियोरी थी मींस ऑफ प्रोडक्शन सारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हाथ में हुआ करते थे. ओके. इससे क्या हो गया? रिच बिकेम रिचर, पुअर बिकेम पुअरर. अगर हम उस डिटेल में जाएंगे तो इट विल अगेन बहुत लंबी हो जाएगी क्लास. फाइंड आउट करें व्हाट इज कैपिटलिज्म अगर आपको नहीं पता. तो फिर देन व्हाट हैपेंड कि सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एंड पॉलिटिकल जस्टिस अचीव करने के लिए लोगों को, हाउ टू इट्स पीपल, इंडिया हैज tried to curb or remove all kinds of exploitation. Now, how was this possible? By securing equal distribution of income. Okay. Socialism में होता ऐसा है कि all the wealth of the country. Now, there are two extreme theories. Okay. Fine. There are two extreme theories. एक हुआ capitalism, एक हुआ socialism. Okay. But India is following democratic socialism. Remember that. वो मैं बताती हूँ point. एक्सट्रीम कैपिटलिज्म कहता है कि सारे मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हाथ में होंगे. जब प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हाथ में होंगे तो अंदाजा हमें हो सकता है कि अब वो अपनी विम्स एंड फैंसीज पे जो है इकोनॉमी चलाते हैं. यस और नो? पॉसिबिलिटी है कि नहीं है?
Yes.
There are all possibilities that the private sector will do whatever it wants without looking into the welfare of the people. Yes or no? So
Yes.
in this sense, the rich becomes richer in a capitalist society and poor becomes poorer. Coming to socialism, अब इसकी सारी negativity हटाने के लिए अगर if you replace it with socialism, what does socialism say? The entire means of production, तमाम means of production will go into the hands of the government or the state. Yes?
Yes.
Looking into the welfare of the people. But यहाँ पे भी क्या हो सकता है? There are all possibilities that competition कम हो जाएगा, right? Economy will not speed up in development. Is it possible? Sorry, because see, the government, any government will have the notion of development of the state, yes, or the welfare of the people. Yes or no? When you look at welfare concept, the automatically जो है competition कम हो जाएगा. There won't be an economic competition. And if there's no economic competition, no competition in demand and other aspects of that, what will happen? The economy will come down. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
So what is democratic socialism? India adopted for a democratic socialism. Now, what is democratic socialism? It created a balance in distribution of means of production. Okay, how? Some means of production have been given to the private sector and major are given to the state. Okay, most of the means of production are under the control of state, but simultaneously some are also diverted to the private sector. So this is a balance between extreme either capital theory or a socialist theory. Am I clear now? So
Yes,
India opted for a democratic socialism since the beginning of the enactment of the constitution. But only in the year 1976, formally, we have included the term socialism to the constitution. Okay. Am I clear now? Now,
Yes, madam.
This aims at achieving social, economic, and political justice to its people by ending all forms of exploitation and equitable distribution of income, resources, and wealth. Is that clear? This is all about democratic socialist state. Next, India is a secular country. Okay, yes or no? You get most of the features. अब हम जो आगे features discuss करेंगे, हमने preamble को discuss किया कि नहीं किया, है ना? In a nutshell, we have described preamble. तो वहां से आप कई सारे features discuss कर सकते हैं. Don't keep quiet in my class. Another thing is secularism. What is secularism? आपको secularism से क्या समझ आती है? बताइए.
No interference of religion in state.
Sorry, what did you say?
No
All
interference.
religions are same, ma'am.
What do you mean by all religions are
State
same?
has no religion.
State has no religion.
Everyone is equal, ma'am.
Equal, ma'am. All religions are equal.
Yes, yes, good. State has no religion. Remember that. State has no religion. This is very important statement connected to the concept of secularism. Okay. State has no religion. Okay. What do you mean by state has no religion? Can you give me some examples of countries which have religion, which state adopted religion? Tell me.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, all the Middle East countries, most of the Middle East countries, yes or no? Islamic countries, you can also call them Islamic countries. Okay. Now, secularism, we need to understand in two ways. Okay. There's something called negative secularism and there's something called positive secularism. Okay. What is negative secularism? There is nothing called, no special status is granted to religion in a particular state. Okay. And the people of the country are not allowed to practice religion in public. Okay. The people, some countries follow secularism in a negative way. First of all, they don't have any state religion. Okay. And the people of the country are not allowed to practice religion in public. There were countries which did not even allow the people to practice religion in private. There was nothing called religion. This is called negative secularism. Okay. But India adopted positive secularism. Okay. What is positive secularism? Though there is no state religion, okay, though there is no religion for the state, but every citizen of the country is allowed, is free to practice his own religion. Yes or no?
Yes,
are we
madam.
not free to practice our religion?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone in India are free to practice their own interest of religion. They are free to practice their religion. They are free to propagate their religion. Yes or no?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Yes.
China is showing the negative secularism.
देखें, नेगेटिव सेक्युलरिज्म आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए मैंने बताया, आज तक कोई ऐसा सवाल नहीं आया नेगेटिव सेक्युलरिज्म, ठीक है, बट मैंने ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर कर दिया है आपको कि कई कंट्रीज ऐसे हैं जहां पे रिलीजन को प्रैक्टिस करने की आजादी ही नहीं थी, ना तो पब्लिक में ना तो प्राइवेट में. ये एक सेक्युलरिज्म का नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट है कुछ कंट्रीज में. फाइन, लेकिन ओके, there are countries like India, country like India is the best example of positive secularism, where people of the nation are allowed to practice, propagate and profess their religion. Okay, they are allowed to practice religion of their choice and interest. They are allowed to propagate their religion. Okay, they are allowed to profess their religion. They are allowed to run their religious institutions freely. Okay, without interference from the state. Am I clear? So
Yes,
India
madam.
is a secular state. Everyone, every citizen of the country is free to practice their own religion, propagate their own religion, profess their own religion. They are also free to run their religious institutions. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
They are also free
Yes,
to run
ma'am.
their own religious institutions. हमारे मदरसा नहीं है. Madrasa form of education. Are we not free to run a madrasa in our country? We
Yes.
are.
Yes,
free.
we are.
Yes. Okay. So this is called secularism, and India is a secular country. There is no discrimination on the basis of religion in this country. There cannot be any kind of discrimination to anybody, to any religion on the base to anybody, to any citizen on the basis of religion in this country. Remember this. Okay. The backbone of secularism is nobody will be discriminated on the basis of religion for any opportunity in the country. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
clear,
Now,
ma'am.
next concept is, what did we say in preamble? Bataiye. India is a democratic
Democratic.
country. Yes or no?
Yes.
Tell me, what is democracy? ये तो हम स्कूल से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं ना?
It's for the people.
For the
By the-
people.
By the
By
people.
the
people.
Government which
and
is
all the
formed by the
या
people. of the
बच्चों की
people.
तरह, come on guys, आपने तो स्कूल खोल लिया. Okay, ये बताएं, what is for the people, by the people, of the people? क्या हम at this level क्या by the people बात करेंगे? ऐसे statement दे देंगे
No.
democracy के लिए?
No, ma'am. It's
कुछ
for the people means
The government is elected by the people.
Election,
Yes. Okay.
true election.
Through election. Okay.
and this will be for all the people.
Everyone can participate in elections, ma'am.
By for the people, सारे ही state है, right? Everyone can participate in elections. So the center of power is people. एक line में याद रखना. The power comes from whom? From people. Yes or no? Constitution of India provides for a democratic system. The authority of the state, the authority of the government rests upon the sovereignty of the people. Who are sovereign in a democratic country? Sovereign is nothing but supreme. Okay. Supreme power जिसके पास होना. So who are sovereign in democracy? People are sovereign. Okay. The sovereignty rests in the people of the country. Okay. People enjoy equal political rights. जब आप बोलेंगे democracy आप describe करेंगे in a nutshell, तो अब आप for the people, by the people, of the people 5th class 6th class के बच्चों की तरह नहीं explain करना. You will write like this. Okay. The authority of the government rests upon the sovereignty of the people. Sovereignty and a supreme power. Okay. Supreme, being supreme. So people are supreme in a democratic nation. People enjoy equal political rights. Okay. Now, based on these equal political rights, the people freely participate in the process of what? In the process of
Election.
election or politics. Okay. Now, they elect their government. Yes or no? Who elect the government? People elect the government. Free, fair, and regular elections are held for electing governments. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes.
Free,
Absolutely.
fair, and regularly elections are conducted in a democracy. And people elect their government. Okay? For all its activities, the government of India or in any democracy, the government is answerable before the people. Remember? Yes?
Yes.
Every act of the government, they are answerable to people. They are the government of a democracy is always responsible to people of the nation. So in India, because we are following, India is a democratic nation, the government of India is responsible for every act to the people of India. Yes or no? For
Yes, ma'am.
every act of government, they are answerable to people of India. They are answerable before the people of the nation. So the people can change this government. Yes or no? Can they change or not?
Of
Yes,
course.
कहते जाएंगे कि नहीं,
Yes,
बस
yes.
आप मोदी को रख लिया तो मोदी ही हमारे आने वाली पीढ़ियों का भी जो है प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना रहेगा. है क्या ऐसा?
No.
No, because this is a democracy.
Yes, sir.
So how long is the government in power? Tell me. As long as it enjoys the confidence of people, any government will remain in power in a democracy.
Yes.
But once it loses the confidence of the people, people will remove and throw such government. Yes or no? And how
Yes,
is
sir.
that possible?
Through
Elections.
elections.
Through elections.
It is possible through elections.
Elections.
And in every election, by practicing their right to vote, people elect their own representative, their own government. Yes or no? Which
Yes, sir.
enjoys the confidence of people. The confidence of people is very important in democracy, in any democratic nation. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yep.
So no
Yes,
government
ma'am.
can remain in power which does not enjoy the confidence of the people. Okay? India is the world's largest working democracy. Remember. Okay? When we are talking about democracy, there's again one concept to tell you. Okay? देखिए मैं किसी what I want to make clear is whenever I'm discussing a feature, if a concept is coming, if a theory we are discussing, in brief we will discuss about the theory so that you will have an idea. Okay, democracy is again of two types. Do you have any idea? Come on, what is this? Is तरह के खामोशी?
Representative democracy.
Representative democracy. Can it be called indirect democracy?
Direct
Yes or no?
democracy. Yeah.
So there
Constitutional
are
democracy as well.
No, there are basically two types of democracies, direct and indirect democracy. Can you give me an example of direct democracy?
Direct, where we elect the people like MPs.
People directly elect the
Representative of the
representative or head of the state. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
But in indirect democracy, what will happen? People, according to the proportion of the population of a particular state, they will elect their representative. And that representative will represent us in the parliament. Yes or no?
Yes.
On behalf of us, that representative will maybe an MP, maybe a minister, maybe the council of minister, maybe the cabinet minister, maybe the... Are you following me?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
India actually follows indirect democracy or a representative form of government. Fine. And India is the working democracy of the world today.
Yes.
Don't forget this.
Yes,
Okay. So who has we were discussing कि हमें political rights होते हैं. We are supposed to participate in the elections in a democracy. We make governments and we throw out the government through the power of vote and through regular, fair and free elections conducted at intervals. Yes or no?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
any government which do not enjoy the confidence of people cannot remain in power. इसके लिए sometimes we also conduct by-elections also. Have you heard the term by-elections?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
What is by-election? Tell me.
If the
If the elected representative, like in the case of, if he is dead,
Be
natural
little
death,
loud.
If the Lok Sabha is dissolved before time, then we will be having by-elections. Is that the way?
Sometimes when a government loses, अभी हम confidence की बात कर रहे थे ना?
If a person dies on
Whenever,
designated person.
if any government loses confidence, then if before the term is over, what is the term of a government? 5 years.
5 years.
yes,
Yes. Before 5 years कुछ ऐसा हो जाता है, if there is a constitutional breakdown or if the government loses its confidence or majority, then what will happen? By-elections are immediately conducted. Yes. So the power of vote is very important, and every citizen who has achieved or who is at the age of 18 years or above will have the right to vote. Yes, but they have to be registered voters. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
madam.
absolutely.
Just because आप में आज कोई 18 years का होता है, क्या आने वाले इलेक्शंस में सीधे मुंह उठा के जाके वोट कर सकता है?
No, they have to
No,
register
madam.
themselves first.
They have to first register. So हमारे पास अब आप लोग lawyers हैं, है कि नहीं? Future lawyers हैं आप लोग. तो ये देखें, ये awareness भी लाएं कि how important is our vote. Democracy की backbone है. Yes or no? ये हमारा मुल्क है. This is our nation. And the power rests in us. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
The ministers or the public servants are public servants. The term itself is telling that they are servants. So who is supreme in this on this land? People are
People,
supreme.
people are.
People.
Sovereignty rests in the people, and you can. What is the weapon in the hand? What is the weapon of such people? Sovereign people.
Vote. Vote.
Vote.
Constitution.
Yes, and we need to register. We need to be registered voters. So from now, start bringing awareness among ourselves, हमारी family में और हमारे अतराफ ये start कर दें आप लोग कि सब registered voters हो और सबको वोट की अहमियत भी बताएं. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you do this?
Yes,
This is
definitely.
your responsibility.
Inshallah, madam. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So another term which is described in the preamble is India is a republic. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you mean by republic? Excuse me. What do you mean by republic?
The leaders are elected, madam. Nobody inherits the power.
There is nothing called monarchy. Okay? There's nothing called ये हमें kingship, king, समझ रहे हो ना? There is nobody called king who is the ruler of the country. Yes?
Yep.
The head of the state are elected. In a republic state, India is a republic state. So what do you mean when you say it is a republic country? It means the heads of the state are elected. Okay? Be it the president, be it the prime minister or council of ministers, all of them are elected. Yes? There's nothing called monarchy. Monarchy in the sense kingship. Yes or no? We don't
Yes,
have
madam.
the system of king. Nor we have any nominated heads. कोई है क्या nominated? Do we have a military rule? No.
No, madam.
No.
No. So there's nothing called involvement of military or military power being supreme or any king ruling the country or any nominated person ruling the country. Yes or no? So what is the essence? The head of the state are elected representatives. For example, if you take president, okay, he is the head of the state. Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
If he is the head of the state, he is also coming to power through election. He is an elected representative and for a fixed period of 5 years. He remains in power for a fixed period of 5 years. Likewise, Prime Minister is the real executive. He is also elected head of the state. Yes or no?
Yes.
Along with
Yes, madam.
council of ministers and is always responsible. Yes or no?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
he remains in powers as long as he enjoys the confidence of people. Who?
People.
Prime Minister along with council of ministers.
Ministers.
And President of India for a fixed term of 5 years. Okay? So Prime Minister and President are elected heads by people. Prime Minister is the real head and President is the nominal head. And President is elected for a fixed term of 5 years. Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are also elected for a term of 5 years, but they can be removed from power if they lose the confidence of people. This is called republic. Okay,
Republic,
so India is a republic state. Okay, coming to another important feature, India is called Union of States. Yes or no? How many states India has?
29.
27. 27.
You told 20.
29.
You told 20. अभी 20 स्टेट पर ही हो. 28, 29.
27. ma'am.
28.
28. So India has 28 states and how many territories?
7
11.
9.
7.
Nine,
Shabash.
9 territories.
You told 8. India has 8 territories, right?
Okay.
Okay. So it is called Union of States. Remember, India को हमेशा हम और एक term से बुलाएंगे. Remember this technical term. It is called Union of States. India is called
Union of State.
Remember this term. आपके आगे competitive exams के लिए भी ये term काम आएगा. ठीक है? India is called Union of States. Now, Article 1 of the
Have they
Constitution.
removed Jammu Kashmir from the being as a state, madam? Like Ladakh और उसको ना union territory बना दिया?
You should do that homework and tell me.
Okay.
Okay. So I will remember the questions, because this is hot topics, right, which are being discussed on news nowadays. Yes or no?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Then just find out. Okay. So Article 1 declares Bharat is Union of States. Okay. It is called Union of States. And you are telling that India is a union of states. Two important points you have to note down. Okay. First of all, that Indian Union is not the result of any agreement among sovereign states. ठीक है? Sovereign state का मतलब हमने कहा independent state. Yes or no? Sovereign is something called free from external control. ठीक है? तो ऐसा कोई agreement नहीं. There is no such agreement. Indian Union जो है, okay, the central government. Union का मतलब central government. Okay. So the Indian Union is not the result of voluntary agreement among sovereign states. समझ आई बात? स्टेटमेंट का मतलब बताइए, आया कि नहीं आया?
Madam, can you repeat, please?
Somebody is noting down word to word. Indian Union is not the result of voluntary agreement among sovereign states. क्या मतलब हुआ इस पहलू का? देखें, when we are telling Union of India को अगर हम आर्टिकल 1 में Union of States कहते हैं, इसको एक नाम दिया हमने यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स. यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स सुनते ही क्या लग रहा है कि कुछ इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स थे और इन्होंने एक अग्रीमेंट कर लिया और इंडिया फॉर्म हो गया. यस और नो? यस और नो?
Yes.
ऐसा लग रहा है कि नहीं? यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स इस टर्म से हमको नहीं लग रहा कि अच्छा ओके, देयर वर सम स्टेट्स और सब मिलकर एक एग्रीमेंट किए और जो है इंडिया बन गया. क्या ऐसा है?
No.
ऐसा है? नहीं. So first important point is there is no voluntary agreement between independent states or among sovereign states to form Indian Union. ठीक है?
Yes.
Second important point is the states of India. We have how many states? 28 states. 28 states are under the control of union government. Remember that. Okay. There is no voluntary agreement between these states. All these states are, they are channelized as the central power rests with the union government. Okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
There is nothing called voluntary agreement. इन states के बीच में कोई agreement नहीं हुई है. अगर हम इसे union of states कहता है, describe करता है in article 81, it doesn't mean that ये सारे 28 states ने मिलकर independent states से मिलकर कोई agreement किया. अगर ऐसा agreement होता तो हर state इस agreement से withdraw करता और जब दिल चाहता ये इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट फॉर्म करता. पॉसिबिलिटी थी कि नहीं थी? है ना? यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स कहते हुए हमने इसको बहुत केयरफुली इस टर्म को यूटिलाइज किया. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट वाज, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक बात याद रखनी होगी कि इंडियन यूनियन जो है, इट इज नॉट द रिजल्ट ऑफ एनी वॉलंटरी अग्रीमेंट बिटवीन फॉरेन स्टेट्स. इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स के दरमियान कोई ऐसा वॉलंटरी अग्रीमेंट नहीं जिसके नतीजे में इंडियन यूनियन फॉर्म हुआ हो. ये पहला एक एस्पेक्ट है, याद रखें. तो मरकज सारे पावर का इंडियन यूनियन है एंड ऑल द रिमेनिंग 28 स्टेट्स आर अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ यूनियन गवर्नमेंट. ओके, सो अदर पॉइंट इज द स्टेट, सेकंड पॉइंट इज द स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया डू नॉट एंजॉय द राइट टू secede फ्रॉम द यूनियन. ओके, तो ये यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स आपको नाम दे इस हमारे कंट्री को मिलने के बावजूद ये हमें याद रखना होगा कि इन 28 स्टेट्स में कोई ऐसा स्टेट नहीं जो इंडिपेंडेंट हो कि जब चाहे वो अलग से अपना एक आइडेंटिटी और अलग से अपना स्टेटहुड फॉर्म कर सके. दे आर ऑल पार्ट ऑफ वन नेशन अंडर द सेंट्रल पावर ऑफ यूनियन गवर्नमेंट. ठीक है?
Yes.
मैं समझा पाई आपको ये कॉन्सेप्ट?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
समझ आया?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
आर्टिकल 1 डिक्लेयर्स, फिर से रिपीट करती हूँ, नोट कर लीजिए. Article 1 declares Bharat or India as union of states. Two important points are to be noted here. Firstly, that Indian Union is not the result of voluntary agreement among sovereign states. Second point is, the states of India do not enjoy the right to secede. Important. The states of India do not enjoy the right to secede from the Union of India. Now, Indian Union has now presently how many states? 28 or 29?
28, ma'am.
28 states,
And 8 union
8
territories.
territories.
ये point clear हुआ आपको?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next point is mixture of federalism and unitarianism. India is a mixture of
Federalism.
federalism, federation, and unitarianism, which means unitary government. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to understand one thing. We need ये statement कहने से पहले हमको मालूम होना चाहिए कि फेडरल स्टेट क्या होता है और यूनिटरी स्टेट क्या होता है. पहले आप मुझे ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर कर दीजिए.
Federal state is like central power is in effect.
Central power is in effect. No.
The division of
State and
powers
central
was-
government, form of government.
कोई भी civics background के नहीं है यहाँ पर आपकी क्लास में.
Science
Two
background.
levels of government, one in central and other is in state.
Very good. 2 levels of government. There is a central government and the state government. In a federal state, there are 2 governments at 2 levels. Okay, governments at 2 levels. Guys, remember, अगर जो हम इतना डिटेल में भी I am trying to discuss the salient features of Indian Constitution. आपका एक सब्जेक्ट सिर्फ फीचर्स अगर आप अच्छे से समझ लेंगे तो जीके का एक टॉपिक आपका कंप्लीट हो जाएगा यहीं पर इस टॉपिक के साथ. What is that? Indian polity. Okay. Yes. You are covering Indian polity if you clearly understand salient features of Indian Constitution. That is why I am giving you detailed explanation, though trying to be brief, but still I am covering all the aspects. So Indian polity जो भी पढ़ाएंगे, ताज sir please note down. Almost इनका revision हो रहा है Indian polity का. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. So we were discussing that India is a federal government with unitary features. ये ठीक से शायद आपको समझ आए. India is a federal government with unitary features और unitary bias कह सकते हैं. पहले तो हम फेडरल और फेडरलिज्म क्या होता है, यूनिटेरियनिज्म क्या होता है, इसको समझ ले. Federal form of government is a form of government where there is government at 2 levels. Okay, one at central level and another at state level. Then opposite to it, unitary form of government. That is, there is only one level of government, that is central level. Okay. Hello.
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
नहीं गए सब?
No.
Yes, sir.
So so India has हम देखते हैं we have a union government at central level and we have state governments at state level. So more or less देखने में हमको क्या नजर आ रहा है कि India is a federal state. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. दिखने में ये फेडरल स्टेट है लेकिन इसके यूनिटरी फीचर्स ज्यादा है विद अ यूनिटरी बायस. इसका मतलब है यूनियन गवर्नमेंट को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाते हुए हमने फेडरल कॉन्सेप्ट को भी अपनाया. ठीक है, किस लिए? सो दैट हर स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट सिसीड ना हो जाए. इससे पहले ही हमने कहा ना यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स कहते हुए, है कि नहीं? सी इंडिया इज एक्चुअली अ प्लूरलिस्टिक फॉर्म ऑफ सोसाइटी. यस और नो?
Yes.
Different languages, different religions, different backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. So India is basically a kind of pluralistic society with so many regional diversities. Yes or no?
Yes.
So इसकी need cater करने के लिए we actually needed and a very large country. Okay, so we needed both the characteristics of a federal state as well as a unitary state. Federal state होना भी जरूरी था so that हम regional diversities को cater करते, ठीक है ना? Regional diversities क्या है? Language को लेकर, culture को लेकर, हर स्टेट का अपनी अपनी लैंग्वेज है, अपना कल्चर है, अपनी एक हिस्ट्री है, यस और नो? अब इनकी भी नीड्स अलग होती हैं, इनको भी केटर करना था। फिर हमको यूनियन गवर्नमेंट को भी बहुत स्ट्रांग बनाना था सो दैट 28 स्टेट्स, वरना हो सकता था कि जैसे कई सालों से पंजाब इज ट्राइंग टू secede, yes or no? Do you know that movement? What is that movement? Khalistani movement?
Khalistani movement.
Yes, they've been trying to secede from the nation of India. Yes, Indian nation से अलग होने की उनकी कोशिश है। तो इस तरह से हर स्टेट का सर ना उठाए, इसलिए हमने ये कॉन्सेप्ट, जिसको क्वाजाई फेडरलिज्म भी कह सकते हैं, स्कॉलर्स call it as quasi federation. It is also termed as quasi federation. Okay, so इसमें क्या था? They wanted the union to be strong, simultaneously need to have administrative feasibility के लिए we wanted to have two governments at two levels. ठीक है? India is a large country, India is a pluralistic country, India has regional diversities. इतने challenges को लेकर हम completely absolutely federation की तरफ नहीं जा सकते थे। वहां पे डर था कि अगर स्टेट पर भी इंडिपेंडेंट गवर्नमेंट होता तो वो भी हट जाता, हर स्टेट कल अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट आइडेंटिटी मांगता। तो व्हाट वाज द बेस्ट, बीच का रास्ता क्या निकला? क्वाजाई फेडरेशन, दैट इंडिया शुड बी अ फेडरेशन फॉर फीजिबिलिटी ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। लेकिन लिखेंगे ऐसा नहीं, आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग यू द कॉन्सेप्ट। ओके, सो इंडिया इज अ फेडरल स्टेट with more of unitary features. Okay, how to make it feasible, to make the administration feasible and reach different states and reach the challenges of state governments, we had to have government at state level also. Okay, and we simultaneously we had to have a strong union government, so as to have a vigilance that every state tomorrow doesn't rise and doesn't stand up and ask for a separate nationhood. Okay, so looking all these things, keeping all these things into keep taking all these aspects into note, we have adopted a federal form of government with more of unitary features. Is that clear? So yes, what are those like federal features kya hote hain? So India also has division of powers between center and state government. These are important points to be noted. Okay, when we are saying that mixture of federalism and unitarianism, India has division of powers between center and state. India has a written, rigid and supreme constitution. फिर constitution भी कैसा बनाना पड़ा हमको? Written form में होना चाहिए था कि कोई भी tomorrow nobody would violate it. Okay, it has to be had in a written form, in a rigid form. Rigid का मतलब, हम rigid से मुराद क्या है? Amendment procedure. Okay, जब चाहे जैसे चाहे constitution को amend नहीं किया जा सकता था। तो एक फेडरल गवर्नमेंट चलाने के लिए डेफिनेटली एक नॉर्मल फेडरल गवर्नमेंट भी चलाने के लिए वहां का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिटन होना चाहिए, वहां का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बहुत रिजिड होना चाहिए. It couldn't be, it should not be able to alterate it or amend it easily. So India, in this sense, India had the federal feature of written, rigid and supreme constitution. Okay guys? Then independent judiciary with power to decide center-state disputes. India had a judiciary which is independent in nature, and it also exercised the power to decide if there is any dispute between center and state government. Okay? So gayi hai class.
No, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We are noting down, madam.
I am discussing the federal features of Indian government. Okay. First of all, it has division of powers between center and state government. Secondly, it has written and rigid and supreme constitution. Okay. written, rigid and
Supreme Constitution.
To protect the federal spirit, we have these features. ठीक है? इस फेडरल स्पिरिट को बचाने के लिए फिर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने ये सारी चीजें इंक्लूड की. ठीक है? So independent judiciary बनाया. Constitution has given us independent judiciary with the power to decide center-state disputes. Center-state disputes किन मुद्दों को लेके सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट disputes होते हैं? Laws पे, yes or no?
Yes, madam.
There is all possibility that central laws will prevail or state laws should prevail. इसमें झगड़ा हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता?
Yes,
हो सकता है.
Possibility है ना?
Yes,
तो
sir.
कोई भी लॉ, सेंट्रल लॉ, स्टेट लॉ को लेकर कभी डिस्प्यूट आए तो इसको सेटल करने का किसके पास पावर दिया गया है? जुडिशरी को ये
Judiciary.
पावर दिया गया है. और एनी फेडरल फॉर्म में यही होता है. The judiciary is independent and will enjoy the power to settle the dispute between center and state government. Okay. And there is dual administration. हम जब कह रहे हैं administration, okay? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की भी एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है और ड्यूअल स्टेट लेवल पर भी एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम चलता है. Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
अब यूनिटरी फीचर्स देखते हैं. इंडिया के यूनिटरी फीचर्स क्या हैं? इंडिया में यूनिटरी फीचर्स ये है कि इंडिया ने सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, इट हैज प्रोवाइडेड फॉर सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन by providing a very strong center. Though there is administration at both the levels, but always the central administration is strong or prevails over the state administration. For example, अगर किसी स्टेट में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मशीनरी ब्रेकडाउन हो जाए, यानी यहाँ कोई इमरजेंसी आ जाए, तो who will come to rescue? Central government. Yes or no? Yes or no? कोई भी emergency हो, कोई भी स्टेट में, 28 स्टेट्स में, तो who will actually prevail, take over the power of that particular disturbed state? Central government.
Central
Yes or no?
government.
So,
Central government.
has a dual administration, central and state administration, by providing a very strong center. Okay. Then we have a common constitution. Okay. फेडरल स्टेट में it's not necessary कि common constitution or state or center को. There might be a different constitution for state government and different for a central. But unitary feature क्या होता है कि तमाम पूरे nation के लिए एक ही constitution हो. Okay, so India is having one common constitution for both central as well as state government.
States.
Okay? मैं समझा पाई आपको ये point?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Up to the
Then we
mark.
also have common election commission. Yes or no? We have only one election commission for entire nation to conduct elections. पूरे nation
course,
में
yes.
elections, of course, administrative feasibility के लिए, then it has its own, kind of आप बोले usage language में branches. ठीक है? So there is one common election commission for entire nation who will conduct elections for all the 28 states. Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Likewise, we also have common all India services. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What are the all India services?
UPSC.
UPSC,
See.
IAS, IPS, IFS. Yes,
Yes.
or no?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
these three services are common. यहाँ जो भी selection होगा, rigorous procedure के बाद, ये कहीं भी deploy किए जा सकते हैं. Yes or no?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
will be
Yes,
sent to
ma'am.
any state. Any
Yes,
state.
ma'am.
ऐसा नहीं है कि आंध्रा से आए तो आंध्रा ही जाए. है क्या ऐसा? नहीं.
No.
They come from throughout the nation. So we have a common all India service, common administration. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So these all are reflecting a strong unitary spirit or not? Tell me.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Now can we say India is a federal state but with strong unitary features? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
ऐसा क्यों जरूरी था? Because India is a pluralistic society. Yes?
Yes.
And we have so many regional diversities. Yes or no?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so there was a need to secure unity and integrity of nation. Yes? इस unity and integrity nation की achieve करने के लिए और इसकी diversities को देखते हुए the best part was that कि India ना federal बनती ना absolutely unitary बनती. Yes? So India has adopted both the form of government, both the form of states. It has a federal state with unitary features, or it has both the features, or you can call it in simple term as quasi-federation or federation with unitary bias. ठीक?
Yes, ma'am.
Could I explain everybody? Is everyone understanding what I am explaining? Trying to
Absolutely.
put it for you all.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Very
Yes,
clear.
ma'am.
Need a break of
Very
2
clear.
minutes or 5 minutes
Yes,
to
ma'am.
digest these topics.
No, ma'am. Please
No.
continue.
Can I continue? May
Yes,
I
madam.
continue? Okay.
Yeah.
Madam, let us know like when can we note it down?
Okay. Yes. Wherever you find it's important to note it down, note it down.
Okay.
Okay. So let me also check कि आपकी running notes होती कैसे हैं. Important points. मैं क्यों spoon feeding करूँ? Almost कर ही रही हूँ spoon feeding. है कि नहीं? So I at least want to know कि आपकी caliber है कि running notes important points note करने की. जब आप कोर्ट में भी जाएंगे so ये आपकी एक skill बहुत काम आएगी. Okay? जब आप कोर्ट में बहस सुनोगे, you need to note down कि what is important, what to be noted down, what not to be noted down. Is that clear? By the way, like, I'll definitely point out what is important. So, like division of powers between center and state, written, rigid, and supreme constitution, independent judiciary with powers to decide center-state dispute, dual administration, central and state administration by providing a very strong center, common constitution, single citizenship, emergency provisions, common election commission. So all these are the features which show that, which explain that India is a quasi federation. ठीक है? अब बताया मैंने क्या important points थे note करने के लिए?
Yes, ma'am.
अब एक बहुत ही important हम aspect आज पढ़ेंगे. ये अपने आप में एक टॉपिक ही है. ओके, डिटेल्ड टॉपिक है, लेकिन इसको मैं बड़ा ब्रीफ कर देती हूँ. While we are understanding the amendment procedure. ठीक है? Amendment procedure important है कि नहीं? हाँ? नहीं, वही 1946 वाला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लेके चलेंगे? नहीं. We need to bring changes or not from changing times?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. टेक्नोलॉजी बदल रही है, हालात बदल रहे हैं, वही लेके नहीं चल सकते हैं ना. We need to bring changes. Yes.
Yes.
So amendment is very important for any constitution. है कि नहीं? ये
Yes,
पावर ना हो तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाए. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you agree with this? Yes.
Yes, madam.
So Article 368, note down. Article 368 provides for two special methods of amendments to the parliament of the country. Okay. Article 368 provides power to the Parliament of India to bring amendments to the Constitution. Okay. So Article 368 provides for two special
Parliament of
article. मैं कह रही हूँ, नोट करिए. Article 368 provides for two special methods of amendments to the Parliament. ठीक है? Two special methods of amendments. Article 368 gives power to the Parliament to make amendments to the Constitution. Point 1. ठीक है? Article 368 provides powers to the Parliament of India to make amendments to the Constitution of India. Okay. Now, this article provides for two special methods of amendments. Amendments दो तरीके से कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? Can the entire Constitution be amended? क्या आपको लगता है 448 आर्टिकल्स हम जब चाहे अमेंड कर सकते हैं?
We cannot, ma'am.
Why? Why can't we do that? Tell me.
All at a time, we can't. We can't.
I did not say about all at a time, but can we change any part of the Constitution?
We can.
Yes, we can.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, ma'am.
No? कितने कह रहे हैं नो?
See, there are certain the basic laws cannot be changed, but in addition to that, we can amend the laws.
Yes, good.
And
Who
the
is this?
basic
Shahid?
structure
Did
can
Shahid
be
reply
changed.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, you are right. So, ठीक है. See, Indian Parliament enjoys power through Article 368 to make amendments to the Constitution. You are absolutely right. Then again, there's a body discussion. We will discuss when we are talking about, when we are discussing preamble. I will discuss this amendment procedure. Sorry, amendment whether Constitution can be amended or not in absolute. वो discuss करेंगे ये aspect. ठीक है? So most of the provisions can be amended. Most of the part of the Constitution can be amended. Okay, Article 368 gives powers to the Parliament of India that most of the part, almost all the parts of the Constitution can be amended, but basic structure of the Constitution cannot be disturbed. Okay,
Yes.
what is that basic structure?
Fundamental rights.
like democracy, है कि नहीं? ये
Yes.
कुछ बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर्स है, इसको डिस्टर्ब ना करें. ओके, विदाउट डिस्टर्बिंग द बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर द एंटायर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कैन बी अमेंडेड. एंड व्हिच आर्टिकल गिव्स दिस पावर टू पार्लियामेंट? आर्टिकल 368. ओके, मैं समझा पाई आपको ये पॉइंट?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now most of the provisions can be amended by simple majority. There are two methods. ठीक है? One method is called simple majority. Note down. One method is called simple majority. वो कैसा होगा? Majority of total membership of the members present and voting in the house. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Simple majority क्या है?
Simple.
2/3 majority of members present and voting of both the houses of the parliament. Okay? 2/3 majority of members present and voting of both the houses of parliament is called simple majority. ठीक है? Most of the provisions can be amended when the members of parliament pass the amendment bill. Okay? And how they pass the amendment bill? By voting in its favor. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And कितनी majority होनी चाहिए?
2/3.
2/3. 2/3 of majority of members present on that day. Present याद रखें. Present on that day and voting. Present as well as voting. और कितनी हो? Present जितने भी present हैं उनमें से कितनों ने फेवर में करना है voting? 2/3. ये लोकसभा के या both the houses के?
Both the houses.
Both the houses. This is called simple majority. Okay, what is simple majority? 2/3 of the members present and voting in favor of that bill is called simple majority. This is one procedure. Okay,
Yes,
am
ma'am.
I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the other method is for some specified parts, a very rigid method is adopted. ठीक है? Suppose हम specified part यानी example ले ले fundamental rights. ठीक है?
Yes.
Okay? या फिर कोई basic structure को हमने touch कर लिया समझे. So we need very rigid procedure है इसके अंदर. Okay? अगर समझे कल हम
Yes.
secularism के
Yes,
ऊपर
ma'am.
amendments लाना चाहते हैं. Is this not a basic structure of the constitution? It is the basic
Yes.
structure of the constitution. अगर हम इस किसी basic structure को touch करने के लिए यानी कोई some specified or important parts of constitution को amendment लाना चाहते हैं तो then they need to adopt a very rigid method. And what is that rigid method? First, the Union Parliament passes the amendment bill by a majority of total membership and 2/3 majority of members present and voting in each house. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. पहले वाला simple majority जो थी वो करेंगे अब सब. Yes. First
Yes.
of all, the Union Parliament passes the amendment bill by a majority of total membership, not present and voting. Okay? नहीं समझ आई बात. सिंपल मेजोरिटी में क्या होता है? 2/3 वोटिंग हो of the members present and voting.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is called simple majority.
Yes.
Coming to rigid method, see there are 3 aspects here. Firstly, total membership जो होती है ना पार्लियामेंट की, first the union parliament passes the amendment bill by a majority of total membership of both the houses. ठीक है?
Okay.
And means also, okay? And 2/3 majority of the members present and voting in each house.
Okay. Both the
Okay?
houses. Yes.
Both the houses. Then the bill will go to the state legislatures for ratification. Okay.
Okay.
It will move through 28 state legislatures.
Oh. Okay.
समझ आई बात?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Firstly, the union rigid method याद रख लें. First, the union parliament passes the amendment bill by a majority of total membership of the parliament, and then 2/3 members of the both the houses present and voting in each house, okay, or both
Yes.
the houses. Okay. After passing in the bill in both the houses by 2/3 majority or the total membership of the parliament, the bill will pass or it will go to the state legislatures for its ratification. Okay?
Yes.
Ratification yani approval of state legislatures.
Yes.
Then the amendment gets passed only when it is approved by not less than 1/2 of the state of the union. ठीक है? The amendment will get passed only when it is approved by not less than 1/2 of the state union. States of the union. ठीक है? नहीं आया समझ?
आया मैम.
क्या समझ आया? सिर्फ आपको समझ आया कि सबको समझ आया? नहीं समझ आया सबको?
So, ma'am, you mean to say if any law has been amended in the parliament, then that law would be sent to state governments, and
In
that
only
state
region.
government will decide to implement those laws in their state, right?
No. See, there are
Depending-
basically, okay. Let me make it very simple. There are 2 methods. Okay, one is a simple method, the other is a rigid method. ठीक है? We have included both the methods. Okay.
Yes.
Most of the provisions of the constitution can be amended by a simple majority. इसका मतलब ये है कि 2/3 members present हो both the houses में, दोनों houses से 2/3 वोटिंग हो जाए. ठीक है? पहले लोकसभा में 2/3 मेजोरिटी के वोट्स मिले over the bill. ठीक है? Then the bill will pass to Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha also 2/3 of the members present that day and voting on that day, they also have to pass a favorable vote. Okay, this is called simple majority. ठीक है?
Yes.
When both the houses of parliament passes in favor, passes the bill, favorably vote by 2/3 majority, it is called simple majority. ठीक है?
Yes.
Most of the provisions are amended easily. वही amend हो जाएंगे. When the ratification or approval is given by both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Are you getting me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, absolutely getting clear, very clear.
Okay. Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will give a 2/3 majority of the members present and voting. ठीक है?
Yes.
फेवरेबल वोट्स कितने हो? 2/3 वोट हो, जितने लोग प्रेजेंट हैं और वोट कर रहे हैं. लोकसभा में भी, राज्यसभा में. पहले लोकसभा में बिल पास होगा, इट विल गो टू राज्यसभा. राज्यसभा में भी वोटिंग हो, 2/3 की मेजोरिटी फेवर में आए, तो ये बिल पास हो गया है. ठीक है? मोस्ट ऑफ द प्रोविजंस इजीली इस तरह से अमेंड हो जाते हैं. लेकिन एक मेथड है रिजिड मेथड, दूसरा मेथड है. ठीक है? वो दूसरा रिजिड मेथड क्या है? ओके, दूसरा रिजिड मेथड कब अपनाएंगे? हर प्रोविजन के लिए नहीं. बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का हमने कहा, अगर कभी इसको डिस्टर्ब करने की बात आई, कभी इसको चेंज करने का ख्याल आया, तो फिर हम ये रिजिड मेथड अपनाएंगे. ठीक है? व्हाट इज दैट रिजिड मेथड? total membership of parliament should do voting. Okay, first is 3 aspects देखना है आपने, ठीक है? The total membership of parliament in the sense total membership of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass that bill. Okay, and अभी जो simple majority कहा हमने, उसके साथ साथ में the bill should be passed by both the houses of parliament by a simple majority of by a majority of 2/3 members present and voting. Simple नहीं कहते हैं इसको, ठीक है? Let's see like this. Firstly, in a rigid method, the bill should be passed between the total membership of the parliament, that is total membership of Lok Sabha and total membership of Rajya Sabha. Okay, the bill will pass through them. Then 2/3 members of both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, should ratify that bill. They should approve the bill or they should give favorable votes to that bill. Okay, parliament में इसकी the bill has been passed in parliament. Okay, फिर 28 states को क्या छोड़ देंगे? उनकी भी तो राय जरूरी है कि नहीं है? After all, you are disturbing the basic structure, important provision of the constitution वो कर रहे हो. Then the bill will pass on to the state legislatures. Okay, हर state legislatures में ये bill discuss होगा. This is rigid method. Okay, remember this.
Yep.
So all the state legislatures will have to ratify the bill. Ratification, approval देना होगा. अब approval देने के लिए, इस bill को pass करने के लिए, वहां पे हमने 2/3 majority votes को consider किया at parliament, at the level of parliament. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
At state levels, all the from among the 28 states, at least 1/2 of the states should approve that bill or should vote in favor of that bill. Okay?
यानी कि 17 states.
Yes, 1/2 of the states.
Okay.
14.
Total voting of parliament and then ratification by 1/2 of the state will allow or pass or let the amendment happen. Is that clear now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam.
Absolutely. Ma'am,
It is
ma'am.
called,
If I understanding correctly, you're saying there are 2 points in rigid method. One is the point which is already included in simple majority,
yes,
and the
yes.
other is all state legislatures should approve by 1/2.
Approval of the, very good. In simple, yes, yes, of course.
Madam, a small
Okay.
confusion is there.
Yes,
In simple
there
major-
might be, see,
simple
the 2/3 should come from the total membership. There's one technicality. In the rigid method, total membership should ratify. Total membership से 2/3 ने ratify करना है.
How
Okay,
is it different from the simple majority? This
present and voting that day.
even in the rigid method, you mentioned 2/3 members
Yes.
should be present in
2/3, firstly, it should be approved by entire membership. Okay, then that bill, see, first of all, both the houses of parliament will sit, discuss over the bill in a rigid method. All the members will have the knowledge of the bill. Okay, then on the day of voting, okay, second, and I said second, simple majority, 2/3 majority should approve that bill or pass on that bill. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, the main difference, what I understand is,
Afroz, did you get that? Did you get me now?
see, to simplify
Please.
what you're saying,
Yes.
simple majority is simply 2/3 majority of the members of parliament of both houses should be present and voting in Lok Sabha
Yes.
and Rajya Sabha. So that bill
Yes,
passes
yes,
and gets
Yes.
approved by, signed by President of India, and it becomes a law.
yes, yes, yes.
The rigid method,
Hmm.
there are 2 components to it. Number 1, the simple majority, what we just quoted, that
Hmm.
becomes number 1. And then number 2,
No,
Mhm.
the total membership of the Lok Sabha, suppose
Afroz?
544, 2/3 of 544 should be there, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Afroz,
help me
first of all, the total membership, 550 or 545 should ratify it. Yes. Okay, Afroz.
all 545 members of the parliament should approve.
Lok Sabha has 545. Then Rajya Sabha has another 235. Yes. Okay. So both the houses should, यहाँ पर भी 2/3 majority pass करना है, and also simple majority भी होना है. ठीक है?
Madam, rigid procedure में पूरे वोटिंग में पार्टिसिपेट होना जरूरी है, वो
बिल्कुल जरूरी है,
2/3 अप्रूव करना जरूरी है,
2/3 अप्रूव करना जरूरी है of the total membership of the parliament. Let it keep it simple. Total membership of the parliament, 2/3 majority should be given. Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Afroz, am I clear
Fine.
now?
Majority.
Afroz?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's okay. That's what I'm asking. Is it same with simple majority, like 2/3 majority?
Simple majority is just by presence on that particular day at that moment, right? It is
So
just
it
about
makes, आप लोग
Yeah.
एक टेक्निकलिटी नहीं पकड़ पा रहे,
नहीं
मतलब ये
actually
है कि सिंपल मेजोरिटी भी उस दिन टोटल मेंबरशिप की होगी, ठीक है? ऐसा नहीं है कि voluntarily they can come and go. When such an important provision is being discussed for amendment, all the members of the parliament is supposed to mandatorily be present on that day of voting. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
समझ आई अब?
Yes, madam.
That is why he is putting the statement that total membership along with the simple majority of both the houses members present and voting should be included. Is that clear?
Yes.
Madam.
Afroz?
If you could just, we understood the second point in rigid method is all state legislatures should approve by more than 1/2. That is understood clearly. There's no, confusion about that. Only the first point of rigid method versus the simple majority. If you could just explain that.
Yes. So you can put, I will make it more simpler. 2/3 see, when 2/3 of total membership is passing the bill, it means simple majority भी include हुआ कि नहीं हुआ उसी के अंदर? अफरोज?
That's
हो
what
गया
I
ना?
yeah.
एक मिनट, अफरोज?
Yeah, that's what I understood.
Yes, you understood right. कि total membership should ratify it. Total membership should pass that bill. They should be present and voting. Yes or no?
First in Lok Sabha.
The attendance of present and voting is considered and the total membership should be present and voting that day. Okay, Afroz? If total membership is present and voting, obviously उसको simple majority भी कहेंगे कि नहीं कहेंगे? उस दिन present and voting सारे ही members हैं. So what? How will it differentiate?
वही difference समझने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ मैं कि simple
देखिए,
majority.
Okay, I will, इतने 3 aspects आप लोग को लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Total membership of parliament of both the houses should ratify it by 2/3 majority present and voting. अब बताओ, समझ आई ये statement?
मुझे फर्क सिर्फ एक ही समझ आ रहा है मैम कि टोटल मेंबरशिप का अल्फाज यूज कर रहे हैं आप रिजिड मेथड के अंदर.
Yes.
और सिंपल मेजॉरिटी में वो अल्फाज यूज नहीं किया आप टोटल मेंबरशिप.
हाँ, देखो सिंपल मेजॉरिटी में उस दिन जितने भी लोग प्रेजेंट और वोटिंग है ना वही कंसिडर किए जाएंगे. जरूरी नहीं कि सारे मेंबर्स प्रेजेंट हो, लेकिन रिजिड मेथड में ये मैंडेटरी कर दिया जाता है कि सारे ही मेंबर्स बोथ द हाउसेस के प्रेजेंट हो और वो 2/3 मेजॉरिटी वोट से फेवरेबल वोट से पास करें उस बिल को. अब आई समझ बात?
तो सिर्फ ये है कि टोटल मेंबरशिप जो 545 लोकसभा और राज्यसभा के भी 245 से में प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए और उनके उसमें से 2/3 should be approving this bill. The difference between simple majority and rigid majority, point 1 is rigid majority.
It need not be 545, Afroz. It need not be 545 present on that day.
Rigid method में नहीं.
Simple method में.
Simple.
Exactly.
Now did you get the point?
जी हाँ. जितने भी अवेलेबल होंगे उस दिन सिंपल मेजॉरिटी.
हाँ, उसमें से 2/3 ने अगर पास कर दिया तो the bill is passed. Okay, but
Yes,
in a
ma'am,
rigid
understood.
method, entire membership should be present. Most of them are present on that day. Okay, and उसमें से 2/3 की मेजॉरिटी कंसिडर की जाएगी. टोटल मेंबरशिप होनी चाहिए प्रेजेंट.
लोकसभा में 545 होनी चाहिए, फिर जब राज्यसभा में जाएगा तब 245 होनी चाहिए.
Yes. Is that clear now?
जी हाँ.
Madam, can we have an example?
लोकसभा का 2/3, लोकसभा की टोटल स्ट्रेंथ का 2/3 पास करेगा, राज्यसभा की टोटल स्ट्रेंथ का 2/3 पास करेगा, फिर ये बिल जाएगी स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स को. अब क्लियर हो गया?
Yes, ma'am. Very clear.
अफरोज क्लियर हुआ?
So,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
so ma'am,
किसी के भी दिमाग में डाउट हो तो मुझे फिर आगे बढ़ने की ख्वाहिश नहीं होती है।
ma'am, in rigid method, you said that again, once the law passed by both the houses, it will go to state legislatives for ratification,
Yes.
right? So, in the ratification, the approval is required individually by the state legislatives, or the individual state has to vote for that particular.
Individual state has to vote for it. Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear now?
Okay.
And
so-
like here, the union territories will be taken care by central government. What Parliament has passed,
Sorry, I did not get your question. What is that?
like state governments, state legislatures will be passing and approving it by half and more than that. That is okay. How about the union territories? Will that be? Will they have?
Will that be considered?
One half of union territories also.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, do we
Can
have
move
such
to other
type of?
point?
Union territories may not have legislature.
Yes, but their ratification is also required.
Madam, a small doubt.
So,
about
ma'am,
simple majority. Madam,
Yes.
regarding simple majority, we have 545 members of parliament. For example, on a particular day, 100 members are present in parliament.
Let them give 2/3 majority.
And bill will be passed.
Yes. But most of the time, most of them, whenever a bill for amendment is introduced in the parliament, remember, इतनी लापरवाही नहीं हो सकती है कि कोई आए कोई ना आए, ठीक है? Is that clear?
Do we have such type of case? Like,
Example.
we had.
We still have, see,
In
these
rigid
questions
method.
are irrelevant for your examinations, what you all are putting right now. But did you understand both the methods of amendment?
Yes, ma'am. Very clear.
Yes, madam.
Are you clear that
Yes,
India adopts two types of amendment procedure, and Article 368 gives the Parliament the power to amend the Constitution? Is it clear? ये concept clear हुआ?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that I want you to focus on examination rather than going into the details. If you go for political science, then you need, even for law, you need this information is more than enough for you. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
Can we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please.
What is the other feature? What can be the other feature of? Dekhe, I am telling you it more detail so that Indian polity is covered here. Most of 80% of Indian polity will be covered. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
What guys? इतनी खामोशी क्यों है?
No, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Fundamental rights. Then the other concept is fundamental rights. Yes or no? So ये बहुत ही एक unique feature है Indian Constitution का. Okay, it is called Indian Bill of Rights. What is it called?
Indian Bill of
Indian
Rights.
Bill of Rights. So Part 3C, Article 12 to 35 of Indian Constitution guarantees fundamental rights to its citizens. Yes?
Yeah.
Part C of
Part C, Part 3C, Part 3 and alphabet C. Okay. Part 3C of Indian Constitution from Article 12 to 35 guarantees fundamental rights to its people, to its citizen, to all its citizens. Okay. But there are certain fundamental rights which are also guaranteed to whom?
Foreigners.
Foreigners also. Okay. Right to freedom. Okay. Can you just name me the fundamental rights guaranteed by Indian Constitution? Class 6-7 में पढ़ा था ना हमने. Right to equality, right to freedom, right against
Right to speech,
exploitation,
right against
right to
exploitation,
freedom
right
of
to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to property and right to constitutional remedies.
Property,
And right to constitutional remedies.
Right to
Yes.
property is removed from the
but was it not guaranteed by the Constitution first? Later it was removed, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Originally we had 7 fundamental rights. Yes? Originally The Constitution of India, note down, originally the Constitution of India guaranteed 7 fundamental rights to its people. Part 3C, Article 12 to 35 dealt with the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Initially, 7 rights were granted, but after deletion of right to property by 44th Amendment Act 1979, presently we have 6 fundamental rights. Okay? So initially, how many rights the Constitution of India guaranteed? It guaranteed 7 fundamental rights. But right to property was deleted by which Amendment Act? ये important exam का question होगा आपका. Which amendment deleted?
Amendment 44 Act 1944.
Amendment Act deleted right to property from fundamental rights. In the year 1979, okay, the 44th Amendment Act of 1979 deleted right to property from the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution of India to its people. Am I clear on this point?
Yes, madam.
Originally हमको 7 fundamental rights दिए गए थे. 44th Amendment Act ने हमसे 1979 में right to property का fundamental right छीन लिया या delete कर दिया. क्यों? क्यों?
Ma'am, because of the independence.
Because of independence, right? 1979 में क्या हमको independence मिला था?
After independence, there were so many fights between the people for land properties.
No.
More than 2 or 3 people have claimed on
land ceiling. Excuse me, land ceiling. Excuse me. Land Ceiling Act के बारे में सुना आपने?
1976 ULC.
Land Ceiling Act नाम का
Urban Land Ceiling Act.
Urban Land Ceiling, right?
What is that Land Ceiling Act?
Limited land, ma'am. 20 acres per person.
Cannot have more than 1,000 square yards, something like that, right?
No, 20 acres per person.
Don't go into that. I'm not asking for those details. We are not concerned with those details. See, we have this concept of welfare state, yes or no? We adopted the concept of welfare state. We adopted the concept of socialism, yes or no?
Yes,
in which year socialism कब include किया था हमने?
1976.
1976. अब socialism said that there should be equal distribution of income and wealth, yes or no?
Yes.
अब इसको execute करने के लिए the rich became, we had landlord system, yes or no?
Yes,
landlord system भी था हमारे पास, है ना? This all started creating inequalities of wealth, rich becoming richer, poor becoming poorer, and there was a challenge of executing the welfare concept in our state. There was a challenge of executing the socialist or achieving the commitment of the constitution of achieving a socialist state. फिर ये landlord system अगर होता चलता, राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी होता तो बहुत सारी प्रॉपर्टी जमा करते चले जाते हैं कि नहीं? तो अब इसको अमेंड करना था, वेल्थ और इक्वालिटी ऑफ वेल्थ लाना था, इनकम एंड इक्वालिटी, इनकम और वेल्थ के बीच में इक्वालिटी लाना था. इन सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रख के राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी को डिलीट कर दिया गया. अगर राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी होती तो बहुत सारी प्रॉपर्टी हम एक्यूमुलेट करते चले जाते, यस और नो? और वेलफेयर के लिए नहीं देते. इसीलिए फिर उससे रिलेटेड लैंड सीलिंग एक्ट्स भी आए, ठीक है? सो दैट द गवर्नमेंट यूज्ड टू प्रोक्योर द लैंड फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल. इट स्टार्टेड एंड इट आल्सो लिमिटेड कि कितना लैंड आपने होना है, आपके पास होना है, ठीक है? तो अब डिलीट करने का मकसद समझ आया ना आपको?
Yes, ma'am.
Right to property? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That is for your understanding. When you say right to property is deleted, that is more important. That question will be direct question. Which amendment act deleted the right to property from fundamental rights? It was 44th Amendment Act in the year 1979. Okay. तो अब ये fundamental rights ही अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा chapter है Constitution का. We will be discussing in our coming classes. Okay, guys.
एक बार आप emphasize कर देंगी वो right to property में problem क्या थी?
Right to property में कोई problem नहीं थी. Right to property was coming in the way of securing welfare state, securing socialist state. Okay.
Right to property क्या entitle कर रहा था जिससे ये नहीं हो पाया?
So there was nothing called कुछ नहीं हो पाना जैसा है. But then the challenges were more. The concept of welfare state was before us. Yes or no? The concept of equal distribution of wealth and income was before us, before the government.
That
Yes.
was not possible through because of this right.
No, because right to property gave you to secure unlimited land under your control. जो already powerful थे, जो already landlords थे, they accumulated more and more land. There was no limit. What will happen with this? It will result in unequal distribution of wealth and income. Yes or no? Is it not possible, Afroz?
With abolition, what do we have now?
Sorry?
Now that it is abolished, what do we have now?
We are getting equal economic opportunities now.
So one person who has the money will not be allowed to.
It was only to curb the accumulation of wealth and property in some few hands. That was more possible because India already had this landlord system.
अभी कोई चाहता है तो नहीं ले सकता है क्या?
What is it, Afroz?
If somebody wants to buy land now, if can afford it, is there a problem, posed by the government that there is a certain limit now?
Yes, they have limited it. They cannot accumulate after an extent. Can you accumulate entire state now? What is the problem in accumulating if Afroz tomorrow goes and having strength to accumulate state of Telangana entire? What is the problem? He's free, no, to accumulate as much as land he wants.
If there was right to property, then yes, that's what you're trying to tell.
But what was wrong in that night? Was it any wrong? What would happen if Afsar Jahan yesterday or tomorrow would have accumulated entire state of Telangana and entire state of Haryana? What problem it would create? वो अपनी freedom enjoy कर रहा है ना? दूसरों को उससे affect होता है. Yes or no, Afroz? होगा कि नहीं हुआ?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
समझ आई अब? So deleting something, they haven't discussed in detail about why it got deleted. But something which was behind, something which was there to curb this, or to remove that landlordism. Okay. Okay. समझ आई बात? It has many social evils related to that. Let's not go into that details. Anyways, we had this right to property, but then it was taken away, okay, or deleted from the constitution. Fine. Fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So इसका मतलब है बहुत ज़्यादा बोल चुके हो. Let's stop.
Ma'am, one question here.
I want to finish some. Yeah, tell me please.
Now, since there is something which was added in the preamble, right, in 1976, as socialism. So, since at that time, to my knowledge, it was an emergency situation in India. How was that done?
Sorry, what did you say? I did not, because your voice is like echoing, first of all.
In 1976, in the preamble, there were a lot of changes. Socialism was added in the preamble, right? So that might have just gone through the parliamentary process of approvals and amendments.
Rahul, please keep your mic a little farther from your mouth, because
otherwise I'll write it down. You can continue, ma'am.
Please let me know later. I'll
sure. Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Then again we have next thing is Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 was passed. This is again an important feature of Constitution of India. See, under protection of human rights, then they have established this two commissions called National Human Rights Commission and State Human Rights Commission at state level to protect the human rights of everyone in the nation. Let it be foreigners or let it be the citizens of the state. This is another important feature of Indian Constitution. Is that clear? Which, see, Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 was passed. In which year Protection of Human Rights Act was passed?
1993.
1993.
Protect the human rights of the foreigners as well as the citizens. For this, we have established two commissions, one at national level, one at state level. National Human Rights Commission at national level and State Human Rights Commission at state level. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
We also have fundamental duties. Up तक सिर्फ हमने rights बात की है. So is there not a duty on every citizen towards the nation? There is. Right?
There is.
Likewise, we also have these fundamental duties included in the Constitution of India under Part 4A. Remember these. This is important. Fundamental duties were included in Part 4A in Article 51A. These deals with some 10 fundamental duties. How many?
10.
Okay. But however, these fundamental duties are not enforceable by courts. Okay, now let's discuss.
Part 4A article.
See, Part 4A, Article 51A deals with certain fundamental duties. Okay?
Thank you.
These fundamental duties are the duties imposed on the citizens of the nation.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But these fundamental duties are not enforceable in any court of law.
Okay.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Enforceability. There is a difference, you know, when fundamental rights are fundamental rights enforceable in court of law?
Yes.
Yes?
No.
No.
Why?
No.
Yes, it's enforceable in court of law.
अगर no तो हाँ तो no, ऐसा हो जाएगा क्या आंसर?
Laws or duties? It's fundamental laws or duties?
See, I am talking about two aspects, okay? Fundamental duties, fundamental rights. Part 3 deals with fundamental rights. Part 4 of the Constitution deals with fundamental duties. है कि नहीं? हमको कुछ fundamental rights मिले हैं enjoy करने के लिए, citizens के लिए भी और foreigners के लिए. Okay? And there are certain fundamental duties. भाई आप एक की right, एक की duty हुई कि नहीं हुई?
Yes.
Right to religion आपका fundamental right है कि नहीं?
Yes.
Right to respect somebody or duty to respect somebody else's religion or duty to allowing somebody to practice his own religion is our duty or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
है कि नहीं? एक की right दूसरे की duty बनती है कि नहीं बनती है?
बनती है.
Yep.
किसी ने right
Yes,
को
madam.
enjoy करना है तो दूसरे ने अपनी duty निभानी है, तब जाके कोई अपनी right enjoy कर सकता है.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
तो क्या right फंडामेंटल राइट्स कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में एनफोर्सेबल है? इसका मतलब है अगर हमारी राइट कोई छीनता है तो क्या हम इसको मांग सकते हैं कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में?
मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है मैडम जुडिशरी का टू प्रोटेक्ट द फंडामेंटल राइट ऑफ द सिटीजन.
एनफोर्सेबिलिटी को समझिए. फंडामेंटल राइट्स एनफोर्सेबल है कि नहीं है?
एनफोर्सेबल है मैडम.
पक्का?
पक्का.
कैसे?
Yes, ma'am.
कैसे बताइए? ड्यूटीज एनफोर्सेबल है? मैंने कहा ड्यूटीज तो एनफोर्सेबल नहीं है. मतलब अगर आप कोई ड्यूटी नहीं करते हो, रेस्पेक्टिंग नेशनल फ्लैग एंड एंथम एक ड्यूटी है कि नहीं है?
Yes.
है? 10 ड्यूटीज में से कोई ड्यूटी सुनाइए मुझे, याद हो किसी को? 6th में पढ़ा था हमने, 6th में 7th में पढ़ा था. आपने कौन सी क्लास में पढ़ा? भूल गए मतलब इस पीढ़ी को, इस जनरेशन को तो ड्यूटीज ही याद नहीं है। चलो भूल ही जाओ, 10 क्या एक ही याद नहीं है हमको।
Government property. To protect government property is one of the duty.
Fraternity.
Abide by constitution and respect national flag. Follow ideals of freedom struggle.
Protection of environment is your duty or not?
Yes.
फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज में ही है ना वो।
Maintain brotherhood.
ठीक है, ये लेट्स नॉट टॉक अबाउट। अगर ये नहीं करते हैं तो क्या कोई जाके कहेगा कि अफरोज ने ये ड्यूटी नहीं की, चलो चलो खींच के ले जाता हूँ कोर्ट? कर सकते हो?
No, ma'am.
कर सकते हो? नो। वही अगर मेरा राइट टू रिलीजन में प्रैक्टिस कर रही हूँ, ठीक है, ओके, अगर मैं नमाज कहीं अदा कर रही हूँ या पब्लिक प्लेस में भी कर रही हूँ, कोई मुझे पकड़ के ले जा सकता है?
नो मैडम।
ये नहीं, कोई मुझे रोक सकता है कि नमाज यहाँ ना पढ़ो? ठीक है, लिसन टू मी केयरफुली। अगर कोई रोकता है तो मैं खामोशी से सुन लूं? चले समझे। अगर हम सब मिलके मस्जिद में नमाज पढ़ रहे हैं और कोई पुलिस वाला आके कहता है कि चलो चलो मस्जिद बंद करो, कोरोना टाइम नहीं है, कोविड नहीं है, फिर भी कोई आके आपको, जैसे आप कोविड के दौरान आपको भगा रहे हैं मसाजिद से, समझ आई बात? नॉर्मल डेज में अगर कोई आके आपकी मस्जिद को लॉक डाल दे, आप चुपचाप बैठे रहोगे?
No, ma'am.
Absolutely no, madam.
What will you do? What will you do?
Ma'am, we will use our one of the fundamental rights.
What?
We will use one of the fundamental rights.
What is that one of those fundamental rights?
Right to religion.
Right to religion itself is a fundamental right. You are not allowed to practice religion. Your fundamental right is taken away by somebody.
You will complain in police, ma'am.
You will complain in police, then what will happen? Will he help you?
You have to go
File a petition.
File a petition. You are coming to the right point. You will go to the court. You will go to the court and make it enforceable. Enforceable को broader aspect में समझे, ठीक है? बहुत simple है term, आप लोग इतना क्यों सोच रहे हैं? Somebody please close your mic. Some disturbance is coming. ठीक है? There are fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. If anybody takes away your fundamental rights or infringes your fundamental rights, or if the state, if the government infringes your fundamental rights, basically fundamental rights are provided against the state. Okay? Fundamental rights किसके against provide किए गए हैं?
State.
They are provided against the state. State cannot interfere with certain rights under the pretext of power. ठीक है? Thus, fundamental rights are guaranteed in the Constitution, also made enforceable by law, and judiciary is made the guardian to protect your fundamental rights. Remember that. ठीक है? Fundamental rights के मुतालिक याद रखें ये बातें. Fundamental rights when guaranteed by Constitution of India, जब आपको दिए गए हैं, it also made sure कि ये fundamental rights किसके against दिए गए हैं? State. तो गवर्नमेंट कभी भी आपके फंडामेंटल राइट्स पावर के प्रिटेक्स्ट में, पावर के हाथ में पावर, जस्ट बिकॉज दे आर एंजॉयिंग पावर के चलते आपका कोई फंडामेंटल राइट नहीं छीन सकती है गवर्नमेंट, चाहे वो प्रेसिडेंट हो, प्राइम मिनिस्टर हो, एक ऑफिसर हो, एक पियोन हो. नोबडी कैन टेक अवे और इन्फ्रिंज योर फंडामेंटल राइट. राइट टू फ्रीडम है आपका, है कि नहीं? कैन समबडी you behind the jail without any reason? Tell me, for some 10 days, can the police put you behind the jail for 10 days without any reason, without producing you before the court of law?
No, they can't, ma'am.
They can't, because it is your right to freedom of movement is your fundamental right. Yes, you are only an accused. You are not a proved culprit here.
Of course.
Even an accused can't be put behind the bars without producing before the court a proper procedure of law established. Okay, so basically समझना क्या है, fundamental rights are guaranteed against the state and they are made enforceable. Who is made the guardian to protect your fundamental rights?
Judiciary.
Judiciary. So whenever anybody tries to take away your right, you go and plead before whom? Before judiciary, before the courts. So then courts will make it enforceable or pass appropriate orders to make the fundamental right active again. This is called enforceability. समझ आई बात?
Yes,
they
madam.
will make that authority. They will make that authority to surrender your fundamental right, to give away your fundamental right, or also go to the extent of punishing somebody who tries to take away your fundamental right. This is called enforceability. Somebody, even if the state government wrongfully tries to take away, infringes on the pretext of power, if they try to take away your fundamental right, the judiciary will come to rescue. You can always उसके लिए फिर एक और एक fundamental right दी गई है. What is it called?
Right to constitutional remedies.
रिट्स के पावर के थ्रू आप अपने फंडामेंटल राइट्स को क्लेम करने का प्रोसीजर है एस्टैब्लिश्ड. इसको कहते हैं एनफोर्सेबिलिटी. आप समझ आए एनफोर्सेबिलिटी क्या है?
यस मैम.
मैं समझा पाई आप लोगों को एनफोर्सेबिलिटी क्या है? समझा पाई मैं?
यस मैम, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
सब नहीं समझे, कुछ ही लोग समझे. एंड अफरोज, डिड यू गेट मी?
Yes, I did. Except as we all know, due to this recent act which has come into place, the UAPA, which has become non-bailable, and
that is again different aspect of Afroz. There's again enforceability ki technicalities, and let's discuss. I will discuss that also, inshallah.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So, but did you understood what is enforceability? That fundamental rights are just not simply guaranteed, but also made enforceable. If any power, be it any power, if they try to take away your fundamental rights, every citizen has the right to go and knock the doors of court to enjoy their fundamental rights and get directions from the court to make it feasible for you to enjoy the fundamental rights, and also to punish somebody who try to take away or try to infringe your fundamental right. But that is not the case with fundamental duties. कल अगर नेशनल फ्लैग लहरा रहा है and without respecting it, जो हम आजकल करते हैं, पहले एटलीस्ट होता था कि कहीं झंडा चढ़ाया तो we would थोड़ा रुक जाते, अगर रोड पे भी होता we would respect it. आज ऐसे देखते हुए जाते हैं. Yes? Yes or no? So is somebody pulling you to the court and saying कि इसको punish करो just because somebody is not doing that? या इसको खड़ा के करो, salute करो? So fundamental duties are not enforceable, but fundamental rights are enforceable. आप समझ में आई ये बात?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, recently the court has also passed a judgment on national anthem as well. When they're playing in
बहुत ज्यादा बदतमीजी हो जाती है तो courts जो है करते हैं and they should come to rescue. But basically, I am telling you, basically ये इतना बड़ा जुर्म नहीं है जितना बड़ा जुर्म है फंडामेंटल राइट्स छीनना. ठीक है? तो ये याद रखें, फ्यूचर एडवोकेट्स हैं, राइट टू सेक्युलरिज्म हमेशा खतरे में रही है. ठीक है? इसको प्रोटेक्ट करना, इसको सेक्युलर बनाए रखना, इसकी फिर अगर अलग से इसके बहुत सारी बारीकियां हैं. सेक्युलरिज्म हो, कैसा हो, किस तरह का हो, खुद भी प्रैक्टिस करें, दूसरों को भी जीने दें, ये सारी टेक्निकलिटीज आते हैं. बट रिमेंबर, you have certain fundamental rights, you have constitutional remedies also for it. You need to know that fundamental rights are enforceable. चुपचाप बैठ के फेसबुक पे डालते नहीं बैठना है. You have a proper procedure to go and ask for that. ठीक है? Claim that or make it enforceable through court of law. Okay?
Okay.
नहीं समझ आई? अभी पढ़ो बोल रहे मैडम, जाके राइट्स को एनफोर्सेबल कराओ बोल रहे, पहले डिसाइड कर लो बोल रहे आप लोग, लेकिन नहीं.
No, rights can be enforced.
हमको लॉ सेट के लिए तैयार करो कि जिम्मेदारी भी डाल रहे हो, जिम्मेदारी भी लो. Yes, आपने जिम्मेदारी भी लेने हैं, इंशाल्लाह.
Definitely, इंशाल्लाह.
Coming back
कर सकते हैं मैम, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये है प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ स्टेट नहीं मिलेगी उन लोगों को.
क्या कहा आपने? क्या कहा?
आप जो बता रही हैं वो भी करने के लिए राजी हैं, लेकिन प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ स्टेट नहीं मिलेगी, जान खतरे में पड़ जाएगी। प्रॉब्लम ये है।
ऐसे डरोगे तो अफरोज बिल्कुल एडवोकेट नहीं बनना तुम, अभी कह रही हूँ, क्विट करो। ठीक है, कोई आईटी में काम कर लो यार तुम। ओके, डोंट डू दैट। So you need to have, you know, आप पढ़ के आ रहे हो, इसको बस किताब पढ़ने और एग्जाम की हद तक नहीं रखना। You need to, अब आपकी पर्सनालिटी शेप होती है, कोई कुछ पढ़ रहे हो तो, ठीक है? Okay, I think we should discuss the other points tomorrow again, डिटेल में बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। Should we leave now?
Okay.
And I want everyone to prepare and come to the class tomorrow. आधा घंटा मेरा सवाल करूंगी तो आंसर सोचने में ना जाए, ठीक है?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum, madam. Allah.
Walaikum assalam.
Before you leave.
Yeah.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.
Message in the chat
Hafiz, ma'am.
for attendance capture.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.